let's get started. So, with the Adesso Man Show today, we are going to be talking about what we learned over the last 5 years because it is our 5-year anniversary coming up next month. Right now it's May, but I guess we don't need to say that.
Well, when this launches, it'll probably be our 5 years.
Yeah. 5 years. Well, I mean, it feels like we actually launched like around May, technically speaking, and then we were like
and
officially.
technically we started talking about it like November.
Yeah. So
we already are at 5.
So yeah, we're
at 6 years right now. But we're so stoked to talk about our 5 years and what we learned over the last 5 years. So yeah,
there's a lot of lessons, a lot of lessons for sure. And I mean, I don't know if we can talk about everything that we learned because there's some lessons that I don't think we can talk about publicly on this forum.
We've made a lot of mistakes in the past 5 years.
Like a lot of mistakes, like don't sit in the back of a U-Haul van.
While you're moving things?
While you're moving things. Or
yeah, if you rent vehicles, have enough seats for all 3 people. That's probably a good one.
Yes, that was probably one of the funniest moments of our like what else? If you rent a place, make sure you have enough rooms.
Yeah,
so you don't have to sleep on a couch.
On couches too. Yeah.
That was a big
Stop
one.
penny pinching, I guess, is the...
Basically, don't cheap out.
Don't cheap out.
You get what you pay for sure.
Yeah, at one point we had, 5 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment?
When we moved to Edmonton. Mm-hmm. That was probably not the best idea, but it was weird because it was really uncomfortable, but also I had the best time of my life.
He had the best sleep on the sofa
for like a year and a half.
A really long time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been a wild ride. I mean, 5 years and going through a lot of ups and downs, starting the company, and Adesso accessories to Adesso Man to having shops and doing markets along the way. All the people that we've met, the network that we've created, the collaborations, the partnerships, our friends, everybody that supported us. First off, like, what a wild ride. And we're so thankful and so blessed to be actually able to experience this. A lot of people don't get to follow their passions. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. There's a lot of crap that you have to go through, and you have to be a strong-willed person to be able to handle all the ups and downs. And it's definitely not glamorous as they make it sound. I know we make it look glamorous, like, in our content, but behind the scenes, it's a lot of work and there's a lot of hardship. There's a lot of
you slept on a couch for like 6 months.
Sacrifices.
I remember just eating hot dogs, and we didn't even have hot dog buns. I was eating them on slices of toast.
Exactly, and like even back when we used to like set up for our markets, man, how crazy was that? Like being in windstorms and getting all your stuff just flown away.
Yeah,
that was wild. That was wild. But I mean, we also met some of the most amazing people through those markets, and how we kind of started out our brand was interesting because we didn't plan to start out that way. We thought we'd be an e-commerce brand, but had no idea what e-commerce was, and we realized that pretty quick. And then, we kind of went back to our roots to really focus on building customer relationships face-to-face and selling and talking about our products and building our brand that way, and really kind of doing that hustle, the grind, hitting the pavements. Yeah. There was a lot of hitting the pavement. We hit a lot of pavements.
I don't get it. What do you mean by that? Like, what's hitting the pavement? What does that mean?
Going out there and knocking on doors. And
I never heard of that before. I never heard of that saying before.
You have not heard of a lot of things. We've realized.
Yeah.
Sometimes here's the little secret, guys. Sometimes I ask pretends to know what
I'm really good at it too.
Yeah, he goes on with conversations, but
I'm like, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm.
In reality, he has no idea what he's talking about. Especially when it says, that's his tell. But yeah, there's definitely a few things that we learned. I asked, what about you? Like, what's one thing that you really learned that you can say, there's a lot of lessons, but
I think creating systems. I think it's so important to create systems and making sure your work is all organized. When we first started, we thought we were organized and we had everything going for ourselves, but we didn't. We were so unorganized. We had no systems. We weren't really holding each other accountable for some certain tasks. We were all over the place. A lot of miscommunication. But you know, and it took us, I would say, it took us 5 years to actually nail it down. Like this year, we made a conscious effort to make sure that we downloaded the right apps to make sure we had the right to-do list all ready to go. We made sure all of our communication was dealt on 2 platforms max. So one would be on Slack that we're using, and the other would be email. So everything has a paper trail, everything has a record of it, and you're not messaging, you're not texting, you're not on WhatsApp, you're not on another app, just messaging about one task over and over again, and then things get lost. So this year, this year what we've done is we made sure that we have 2 regular meetings every week. So we send out emails every Friday being like, hey guys, this is what was completed all week, and this is what my tasks are for next week. And then on Monday, we'll just go through a recap and be like, all right, Abdul and Lucas, you guys have this to do today, this week. IS, you have to complete this, and this. And that's really helped us organize our thoughts, our work, in all aspects, especially, you know, under my department, which would be design. Even from a design perspective, like we work with incredible organizations and like platforms that help you get organized. And what we've done, so Lucas and I work together quite often, especially when we're designing products, is that when we first started, we literally just do everything on paper and took a photo of it, scanned it, and sent it over to our factories and be like, hey, this is it. Help us out with it. And later we figured out that, hey, it starts from a brainstorming session, then it goes on to sketches, and then it goes on to Lucas building tech packs, measuring it all out, making sure that there's a blueprint for that product. And then from there, we go on to getting a prototype or a sample made. And then when that sample comes in, we go through every single detail, make sure the quality's there, the measurements are all accurate. We test it out for a week, making sure that the quality's really good. Then we approve it, and then we send it back, and then we get final samples made, and then we go through quality assurance. So that took a while. Like, it's not something that we learned right off of the bat, but it took years. And right now we're hitting our 5 years, and things are just coming into play where we understand what we're doing. Now it's just second nature to us. But at first it really wasn't. We were all over the place. A lot of arguments being like, this wasn't done, and
yeah, accountability, and then it kind of leads to accountability too. And I think that was the one thing, you know, working in a team environment when you have multiple people and you have lots of things and projects on the go. It's, you know, things will fall through the cracks, and we were facing a lot of those issues. You know, I'll be the first to admit I'm not the most organized person. I don't think any of us were going into this, and I think that was one thing that we had to really develop as a team. I still feel like we're not there yet.
He's more organized than us.
Yeah,
I feel like you and I are always all over the place.
It's still a consistency thing, but you know, we make certain commitments and we hold each other accountable, right? And systems, as a business, as you grow and as you get bigger, will actually benefit you when you try to scale, right? So, especially if you have exit plans when it comes to your business, and you know, people, when you have investors and people looking at your business and you want to sell at some point, they're not just buying the concept, they're buying the systems that you've created. So implementing systems at an early stage in your business would be like a huge advantage to you. Even if you're not the most organized person, I think bringing somebody in as a project manager or an operations manager that is really good at building systems for yourself and protocols would go a long way. You know, we've tried to do this on our own. You know, I still think we're at a disadvantage if we had an extra person that was just project managing and making sure that we was building out systems for us for like every aspect of our business, or every every division that we have. It would really help propel us and stay a lot more organized and efficient. You know, as owners, like, we have so much on our plate, right? And so trying to fill that time and not wasting time is really important. So to your time is your money. So just, you know, I think systems is a huge thing that we learned over the last 4 or 5 years, and still learning and still kind of getting used to as well. So
which all ties into the next point that we wanted to bring up, was focus.
For me, like, focus, right? Like, as a business, what systems will do, it'll create focus towards, you know, processes, and in general too, as a business, I'm a very creative, like, out there, you know, I want to try a lot of things and test a lot of things out, and I'll come with ideas and always looking for solutions. And sometimes I, you know, get ahead of myself, and that's something that I had to learn, is to to not overwhelm, and we still do it. I mean, we're kind of it's still something that we need to work on, and it's has caused us issues in our business and has caused us to make mistakes, but we're still learning from that. But having a very focused concept and a focused effort into making something work really goes a long way, right? So for example, like when we first started, we were really focused on the concept in general of creating a men's lifestyle brand or an accessory brand for men that was affordable, that was unique, that was great quality, we had premium products, and that was European inspired. But then we kind of we added on a lot of things, and we just tried to fill our SKU count because we had opportunities to open up shops. So then as soon as we were like, hey, now we've got multiple SKUs that we need to fill our shop with, we started, our concept started to change a little bit, and we started to make concessions because we were trying to do a lot at the same time. And we're still over the last 5 years, my whole idea around it was I love to test, right? So we had this thing okay, let's just do it and see what works, and what doesn't work, we'll kind of, we'll filter through.
And I'm just going to chime in quickly. I think that's a really admirable trait that Abdul has, is that he's not afraid of taking risks. And I think you need somebody like that on your team to just jump into the waters and just try it out. Whereas I question a lot of things, but Abdul and Lucas would be the ones be like, no, let's just do it. What harm is going to, yeah, we'll lose a little bit of money, but let's try it out. If we're not going to take the opportunity, we're never going to know.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, which I mean, in both both aspects are really important to have somebody that plays devil's advocate, and you're taking calculated risks, which is again a third thing that we definitely did learn was don't be afraid to take risks. We don't have to question everything, but make sure that you stay within scope and within your wheelhouse of what you can do and do well. So if you have an idea, develop that idea to fruition. So where you've done everything that you can to develop that idea, even if it's a product or a service or concept, and don't get shiny object syndrome, which is something that as entrepreneurs, it's easy to get because you're always looking at the next thing, and you want to solve the next problem, and you want to bring in the next cool thing or the new idea that you have. So it's really easy to get distracted, but if you can stay disciplined and really focused on one idea and solving one problem at a time, and putting all your energy and your resources into that, I think it will really, really help propel you to the next level.
Yeah, and you just can't be everything to everyone. And I think that's something that we realized through the years, is that because we wanted to take our brand to every single person, that we kind of got confused throughout the process, that we were bringing in items that maybe weren't for our niche specifically. Yeah. So that's where it comes into play, is being focused and not losing your focus on who you're selling to, who your market is. Yeah. And and that's the thing, and even about our market, and that's the other leads into our other point of what we learned was don't make assumptions, right? We made a lot of assumptions based off of what we felt, and obviously the limited interactions that we've had with our customer base when we made decisions. It's easy to make assumptions based off of limited data, but really, really do your research. I would say we've made some mistakes. We've opened up stores in cities that maybe we shouldn't have, but even though those opportunities led to other opportunities, which is the other thing, not every decision is a bad decision. If you make a mistake, you fail, you learn. That's definitely something that we believe in, but don't make assumptions, right? Lucas, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree on that. We for sure have made a lot of assumptions, especially on client base and places that we have opened up. Yeah, so again, I would really, really, do your research, make data evidence-based decisions, which will really help you get to the next level. And that's something that we're looking at now. We have multiple data points that we look at before we make any sort of decision. We have a decision matrix that we use. We look at factors that are important to us in the decision matrix. And then all the decisions that we need to make, and then we create a priority list based off of that. So don't make assumptions, and obviously taking risks, calculated risks, but don't jump into everything that you see either, right? So that's something we definitely learned. I think one of the main things that I learned over the past 5 years, this kind of ties into making mistakes and being organized and trying to like hold each other accountable and stuff, is just like own up to your shit. Is like one of the main things that I learned. It's like there's so many people nowadays that they make a mistake and then they come to you with excuses, and it's like, it's as simple as, I messed up, I should have got that done, you know what, I'm going to work on it right now, I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. That's the conversation that you need to have. But I feel like at the start we were always like trying to make up excuses. I know I was really bad for that. That something wouldn't get done and I'd be like, oh, well, I was working on this, I was doing that. And it's like, no, like literally just be like, yeah, you know what, I screwed up, I should have got that done, I'm going to go get that done.
Yeah. And I think that's accountability, and then also taking ego out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the one thing as an entrepreneur, man, if we learned anything, it's like you don't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as much as you think you do about your market, about the things you think you know, like ego is not your friend, it's your enemy for sure. I totally believe that. So humbling yourself to be able to open yourself up to learning and taking criticism and being able to be honest and upfront and transparent about where you are. I think people respect you more in general, right? Like, and you respect yourself. You're not fronting, you're not pretending like you're somebody, and it's okay. Like, we all make mistakes in life, and I think if you have the ability to humble yourself to own things and to let go of your ego, you know, that also relates to like getting stuck on an idea that you think is going to work, but it's not working for you. Being able to make the decision to be like, yep, this isn't for us, and exiting, that's something that we still struggle with because it's like, man, we've invested so much and we believe in this idea, and as part of our ego, because we don't want to fail, we don't want to disappoint, we don't want to reach where we wanted to reach, that it becomes like it actually is counterproductive, because we're just prolonging the inevitable, and then it's hurting us even more in the long term, right? And then that also, like, patience is something that you were talking about.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I learned about this too, is like, just have patience with things take time. Like, I feel like in today's society you watch so many YouTube videos of these kids with showing off their Lambos and all of that, but it's like a lot of the times those kids are just like renting it or leasing it. Like, don't go for get rich quick. Like, take time, see the long term of like what you're going for and all that, and like have patience. If you truly believe in like what you're doing and you found your niche and you're really proud of what you're working towards, just keep working towards it. Might not be successful overnight, but just keep working towards it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Another major thing, I think what we learned over the last 5 years is hiring the right people. And it's so important, and it's really rare to come by a lot of people who are as passionate as you are about your brand and about your company.
Yeah.
Well, when we first, like, even like when we just hired individuals, we didn't have a proper training system in place. We literally just hired people and just kind of threw them in, and we didn't really give them the background as to who we are, what we do, and why we do it. Like, we never explained to people that, hey, customer service is really, really important, and it's not just simply about making sales, but it's actually providing a service. And we never really even discussed.
I don't think never is the right.
Well, I know we never. Well, it was never emphasized.
I think it was emphasized. I think what we, I'm sorry, I don't mean to disagree with you on this, but I do think that we should have done a better job with our training and also our hiring process and hiring the right people, and the way that we kind of filtered who we brought onto the team. But it was not just about hiring, but also working with the right people and creating the right partnerships. It was really important to us, and that's really helped us get to the next level. And it's a lot about the culture that we created, right? Like, I think at the beginning we weren't really, we had this concept of customer service and being able to go above and beyond for our people, which we do, but because, again, going back to systems and processes, we did create a system that really helped create a long-lasting culture within our business. It didn't work out every single time.
I don't think we did a good job explaining it.
Exactly.
Sure.
And I think that's something that we have learned now, and we're able to now create a system and a process of onboarding and hiring that really is aligned with our culture in right now. And that also leads into our partnerships and the people that we've met along the way and that have helped us. Your external network from the organizations that we work with, with our content partners, with our agencies that we've worked with, collaborations that we've done with vendors and the people that we've actually brought into our store, because we went from being just an Adesso, in-house brand focused company to actually supporting and highlighting other brands from all over Canada and really inviting people into our space. But we were very intentional about who we worked with, and based on alignment with that, a lot, people that align with our culture, good people that were really invested in us and we were invested in them, and
But that took time though. It wasn't always like that. We've had our fair share of people who have
not shown up for you. Yeah, for sure. So I mean, but that's the thing. But a lot of people are afraid to go and ask for help. Mm-hmm. Please don't be afraid to go and ask for help. It's okay, and that's like an ego thing. Mm-hmm. You can't do everything by yourself. Like even for me, when we came up with the concept, I knew there was no way that I could do this by myself, and I needed partners that would help or bring their unique expertise to propel us, because we all have gaps at the end of the day.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of time we assume that people don't want to help other people out, but there's a lot of people out there who would who would want to help you out and be there for you and support your business.
Exactly.
Because even for us, if we didn't reach out to a lot of our people that we know, we wouldn't have known.
Yeah. So, we were never, that's the one thing I definitely think we learned was never be afraid to go reach out and to make connections and network and build partnerships and ask for help and try to create ideas and be innovative with how those ideas work. Because we've done some really fun collaborations with vendors and come up with innovative ideas and how we can produce content. And we couldn't have done that all on our own. It was a lot of external companies that we work with, and you guys know who you are. We appreciate you so much. I could sit here and name everybody, but I'd be afraid I'd miss someone out. Yeah. So, but you guys know who you are, who've helped us along the way, and we honestly could not have been here because of them. So it's definitely it's been a journey, and it's been a lot of ups and downs, and we're still working on things and still learning. We
still have a lot to learn.
Long way to go, and we're definitely not where we are, where we want to go. And I think is there anything else that you guys think you want to add before we close out? I know product was something that we really learned a lot around product development. I know you kind of touched on product development, but really focusing in on what you're offering and really trying to take it to the next level. I think that's something was very important for us, and it's something we're still working on as well. Yeah,
don't be afraid to be flexible. Like if there's certain changes that need to be made to your design, then do it.
Yeah, adapt and evolve.
Exactly. What wasn't important to us at first, but it is now, is sustainability and maybe bringing in products that are ethical and better for the environment. So but you just have to adapt to the changes and be open to it and not be so stuck on your ways.
Adaptation and evolution is definitely the last and final thing I guess I can say is don't be afraid. Don't get stuck in your ways. The world is changing, and we learn to change with the world and evolve as things go. And we've evolved as people. Mm-hmm. So as we evolve as people, our brand is an extension of who we are. And
it's a process, right? It takes time. You're not going to change the world overnight, but it's going to take time. So step by step.
Exactly. But we could go on forever talking about this, but I think we're almost out of time. So appreciate you guys watching. We've got lots more content planned, a lot more videos and tutorials and how-tos coming your way. We really want to support the community with this initiative around our Adesso show. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, if you want us to talk about any topics in the future, please feel free to reach out. We're an open book. Send us an email, shoot us a DM on our socials. We'll answer.
Slide into Abdul's DMs. That's what he means?
No, please.
I know that saying.
I'm not on social media. No, I'm just kidding. But feel free to reach out at any time, and we'll hopefully catch you next time for the next episode of the
Happy 5 years, guys.
Yeah, 5 years.
Happy 5 years.
See you later. Thanks so much.
Thanks.